Artemios Ventouris Roussos, better known as Demis Roussos, entered the world on June 15, 1946, in the vibrant city of Alexandria, Egypt, a place where cultures intertwined like the threads of a rich tapestry. Born to Greek parents, George and Olga Roussos, his early years were steeped in a cosmopolitan atmosphere that would profoundly shape his musical identity. His father, a classical guitarist and engineer, provided a foundation in music, while his mother, an actress in amateur theatrical groups, infused the household with artistic flair. The family's Greek Orthodox roots ran deep, with grandparents hailing from Chios and Chania, having migrated to Egypt amid historical upheavals like the Asia Minor catastrophe. Young Demis, as he would later be called, absorbed the sounds around him. The haunting melodies of Greek Orthodox chants from the church choir he joined as a boy, the rhythmic pulse of traditional Arabic music echoing through the streets, and the smooth improvisations of jazz that floated from nearby clubs. These influences blended seamlessly in his formative mind, creating a unique sonic palette that would define his career. By the age of 10, however, geopolitical turmoil disrupted this idyllic childhood. The Suez Crisis of 1956 stripped the family of their possessions, forcing them to flee to Greece, where they settled in Athens. This relocation marked a pivotal shift, thrusting Demis into a new cultural landscape while carrying the echoes of his Egyptian upbringing. In Greece, the teenage Demis navigated the challenges of adaptation, but music became his anchor. At 17, he joined his first band, the Idols, playing bass guitar and singing covers of popular hits. It was here that he met Evangelos Papathanasiou, later known as Vangelis, and drummer Lucas Sideras, connections that would propel him to international fame. The band performed in Athens' bustling nightlife scene, honing their skills in smoky venues filled with enthusiastic crowds. Demis's voice, already showing signs of its operatic power and falsetto range, stood out amid the rock and pop covers. After the Idols, he moved to E5, another cover band, but success remained elusive in Greece's limited music market. The turning point came in 1968 when Demis, Vangelis, and Sideras formed Aphrodite's Child, a progressive rock outfit that captured the psychedelic spirit of the era. Relocating to Paris amid the May 1968 student riots, they signed with Mercury Records and released their debut single, Rain and Tears, which became a massive hit across Europe. The song's melancholic organ riff and Demis's ethereal vocals evoked a sense of timeless longing, drawing from Byzantine chants and classical influences. Aphrodite's Child's albums, including End of the World, 1968, and It's 5 O'Clock, 1969, showcased their experimental style, blending rock with symphonic elements. Their magnum opus, however, was the 1972 double album 666, inspired by the Book of Revelation. This ambitious work, filled with apocalyptic themes, complex instrumentation, and Demis's soaring vocals on tracks like The Four Horsemen, became a cult classic in progressive rock circles. Despite internal tensions, Vangelis pushed for more avant-garde sounds while Demis leaned toward melodic accessibility. The album solidified their legacy. By 1972, the band disbanded, but not before leaving an indelible mark on the genre. 800 CF3 embarking on a solo career in 1971, Demis released We Shall Dance, a folk-infused ballad that topped charts in Belgium and the Netherlands. Though it initially flopped in the UK, it signaled his shift toward romantic orchestral pop. His self-titled debut album, Fire and Ice, also known as On the Greek Side of My Mind, blended Greek folk elements with Western pop, reflecting his dual heritage. Success exploded in 1973 with Forever and Ever, a sweeping anthem of eternal love that hit #1 in multiple countries, including the UK in 1976. The song's lush strings, Demis's falsetto cries, and poetic lyrics about undying romance resonated with audiences seeking escapism in the post-hippie era. Albums like Forever and Ever, 1973, and My Only Fascination, 1974, followed, each spawning hits such as My Friend the Wind, a breezy ode to nature's whispers, and Velvet Mornings, with its soft, seductive melody. Demis's image, long hair, flowing kaftans, and a robust physique, earned him the moniker of a kaftan-clad sex symbol, a far cry from the slim rock stars of the time. His music transcended borders. In Germany, he released Auf Wiedersehen, 1974, adapting hits into German, while in France, he charmed with French-language albums. By 1975, Happy to Be on an Island in the Sun climbed to #5 in the UK, its calypso rhythms evoking tropical bliss. The BBC, intrigued by his pan-European appeal, produced the documentary The Roussos Phenomenon in 1976, accompanied by an EP of the same name that topped the UK singles chart, a first for an EP. This period marked Demis's commercial peak, with sold-out tours across Europe, Latin America, the Middle East, and Japan. He appeared on shows like The Basil Brush Show and Nana Mouskouri's program, his charismatic presence captivating viewers. 58E5E. As the 1970s waned, Demis experimented with disco on OVE, Got a Hold of Me, in 1978, a funky track that grooved its way into clubs. His 1979 album Universum explored cosmic themes, but the 1980s brought reinvention. Man of the World, 1980, featured a duet cover of Air Supply's Lost in Love with Florence Warner, blending soft rock with heartfelt emotion. Collaborating with Vangelis again, he adapted the Chariots of Fire theme into Race to the End, 1981, a vocal triumph that captured the film's inspirational spirit. Demis guested on Vangelis's Blade Runner soundtrack, 1982, his haunting voice on tracks like Tales of the Future, adding an otherworldly dimension to the dystopian narrative. The album Demis, 1982, saw him team up with John Anderson, co-writing Lament and Song for the Free, infusing progressive elements into pop. Attitudes, 1982, and Reflection, 1984, maintained his output, but personal struggles loomed. Weighing 147 kilograms in 1980, Demis battled obesity, losing 50 kilograms through a rigorous diet, chronicled in his 1982 book A Question of Weight. This transformation symbolized his resilience, turning a vulnerability into a story of triumph. 6755E. The mid-1980s delivered a harrowing chapter. On June 14, 1985, Demis and his third wife, American model Pamela Smith, boarded TWA Flight 847 from Athens to Rome. Hijacked by Hezbollah militants shortly after takeoff, the plane was diverted to Beirut, then Algiers. For 5 terrifying days, Demis was held hostage amid threats, beatings of passengers, and the murder of a U.S. Navy diver. Released with other Greek passengers due to his heritage and fame, the hijackers even requested he sing for them. Demis emerged shaken but alive. This ordeal, broadcast worldwide, added a layer of tragedy to his life, highlighting the fragility of celebrity in a volatile world. He later reflected on it as a surreal nightmare, crediting his faith for survival. SC 7859. Undeterred, Demis continued creating. Greater Love, 1986, and The Story of Demis Roussos, 1987, revisited his hits, while Le Grec, 1988, and Time, 1988, found success in France, with Quan Je T'aime reaching number 2. Voice and Vision, 1989, went gold in multiple countries, and his duet Young Love with Drafi Deutscher hit Germany's charts. The 1990s brought Insight, 1993, also called Morning Has Broken, featuring spiritual covers and collaborations like Immortal, 1995, and Serenade, 1996, with Dutch label BR Music. Mon Isle, 1997, paid homage to his roots, and Auf Meinen Wegen, 2000, catered to German fans. His commitment to Greek orthodoxy deepened. He sang in churches worldwide, blending sacred hymns with his pop sensibility. In 2001, he collaborated with Michel Eleftheriades on Oriental Fusions, performing at festivals in Lebanon, Egypt, and Qatar, where his music bridged East and West. B0388A. The 2000s saw a resurgence. A 2002 UK tour boosted Forever and Ever, Definitive Collection to number 17 on the albums chart. Live in Brazil, 2006, captured his enduring appeal in South America, and from 2006 to 2008, he joined the Age Tendre et Têtes de Bois tour, reviving 1960s and 1970s French hits. His final studio album, Demis, 2009, produced by Mark Di Domenico with Virgil Howe on drums, showcased mature reflections on love and life. In December 2014, just weeks before his passing, he curated tracks for Demis Roussos Collected, which topped charts posthumously in Belgium. Throughout his career, Demis sold over 60 million albums. His voice, a blend of operatic grandeur and tender vulnerability, touching hearts globally. Films like Na Z Kanius I Nami Z, 1966, and A Greek Type of Problem, 2012, featured him, while his music influenced Bollywood, with Me Booba from Sholay borrowing from Say You Love Me. F96896 on the personal front, Demis's life was a mosaic of relationships and family. Married 3 or 4 times, he fathered daughter Emily with first wife Monique and son Cyril with second wife Dominique. Both children pursued music, opening the Demis Roussos Museum in Nijkerk, Netherlands, in 2016, later relocated to Greece. His third marriage to Pamela endured the hijacking trauma, and his fourth to Parisian Marie provided later companionship. He admired Mozart and Sting, drawing inspiration from classical and modern sounds. Health battles persisted. After his weight loss, cancer emerged insidiously. Diagnosed with stomach, pancreatic, and liver cancer, Demis fought privately, hospitalized at Aegea Hospital in Athens. On January 25, 2015, at age 68, he succumbed to the diseases. His death announced the next day by friend Nikos Aliagas and daughter Emily. The funeral at Athens' First Cemetery drew tributes. Nana Mouskouri hailed his superb voice that honored Greece. Marisa Koch praised his emotional awakening of listeners, and Georgios Hatzinasios recalled his heartfelt laugh. This tragic end, after a life of highs and harrowing lows, cemented his legacy as a voice of passion and perseverance. CBBC2C delving deeper into his early influences, Alexandria's multicultural milieu was crucial. The city's blend of Greek, Arabic, and European elements fostered Demis's eclectic style. Church choir practices honed his vocal control, while family jam sessions with his father's guitar sparked creativity. The Suez exile instilled resilience, teaching him to adapt and thrive. In Athens, the idol's gigs in tourist spots exposed him to international audiences, refining his stage presence. Aphrodite's Child's Paris move was serendipitous. Amid riots, they recorded Rain and Tears in a makeshift studio, its success funding further experiments. 660's recording was fraught. Vangelis's perfectionism clashed with Demis's commercial instincts, but tracks like Break showcased his range. Solo, We Shall Dance drew from Greek folk dances, its optimism contrasting post-band uncertainties. Forever and Ever's composition involved Stelios Vlavianos, its melody evoking eternal cycles. Tours in the 1970s were extravagant. Caftans billowing under spotlights, crowds swaying to My Friend the Wind's poetic imagery of nature's guidance. The documentary captured his phenomenon, fans mobbing him in discos, his voice cutting through cultural barriers. Disco forays like LOVE adapted to trends, its beat pulsing with energy. The Blade Runner collaboration was ethereal. Demis's improvised lyrics in a fictional language added mystery. The hijacking's terror, guns, uncertainty, forced performances, left psychological scars, yet he channeled it into advocacy for peace. Later albums like Le Grec infused Greek mythology, Quan Je Tem, a sensual declaration topping French airplay. Oriental projects with Eleftheriades fused canon and oud with his vocals, enchanting Middle Eastern crowds. The museum preserves artifacts, caftans, gold records, photos from hijacking aftermath. Cancer's progression was swift, symptoms masked by age, treatments exhaustive but futile. His final days involved selecting collected tracks, a poignant farewell. Tributes poured in, from prog fans revering 666 to pop lovers cherishing ballads. Asteroid 279226 Demis Roussos honors him celestially. His story, from Egyptian boy to global icon, embodies tragedy and triumph, his voice echoing eternally. Expanding on his vocal technique, Demis's falsetto was untrained yet masterful, drawing from Byzantine modes where melisma conveys emotion. In Velvet Mornings, it paints soft dawn hues. In Lost in Love, it conveys yearning. Collaborations extended beyond Vangelis, with Pet Shop Boys' influences indirectly, his style prefiguring synth-pop. Personal anecdotes reveal warmth, signing autographs post-hijacking, sharing weight loss tips in interviews. The book's candor on obesity, emotional eating, societal pressures, resonated with readers. Later tours, like Age Tendre, reunited him with peers, nostalgic sets reviving youth. The 2009 album's modern production blended electronica with classics, Virgil Howe's drums adding edge. Collected success posthumously affirmed enduring appeal. Death circumstances, prolonged hospitalization, family vigil, peaceful passing amid prayers. Emily's announcement evoked global mourning, obituaries lauding his 60 million sales. Tragic in its prematurity, his life inspires, overcoming exile, hijacking, health woes through music's healing power. His legacy lives in soundtracks, covers, tributes, a testament to a voice that transcended boundaries. To fully appreciate, consider cultural impact. In UK, Abigail's Party parroted his kitsch. In India, Sholi's hit borrowed his melody, spreading influence. Church performances, like in Paris cathedrals, merged sacred and secular, his faith evident in lyrics. Family dynamics. Emily's production work, Cyril's DJ sets carry the torch. Museum exhibits detail career arcs, from idols posters to 666 vinyls. Asteroid naming, in 2014, thrilled him pre-death. Films. His Pope role in 2012 comedy added humor. Tragic death amplified by prior brushes with mortality, hijacking foreshadowing vulnerability. In reflection, Demis Roussos's journey from Alexandria's streets to Athens' gravesite encapsulates human drama. Joy in melody, sorrow in loss, eternal in memory.